Hey, just want to do a quick demo on post filter tools. I did a quick walk cycle on the bear. It's nothing fancy. I just spent a couple hours on it. But what I wanted to show you, so see the head's kind of stable right now. I have it in the puppet space, so it's just following whatever it's just pointing with the puppet. So if I rotate the cog around, it's just stable. If I want some secondary motion on that, what I can do is this. I'm going to make a new animation layer from the selected. And I'm going to go to anim filter tool, and I'll use dragger. And so one thing you do is watch your scale. So the scale is like how far out the aim is going to happen. So to do that, I have a couple ways to do that. So I'm going to query it. So that's going to tell me kind of how big this control is. Now the head itself is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to use 75 for this. Then I need to check the axis. So I know this is a Z forward, Y up, so that's what I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and bake this. So as you're doing this, the bake's going to get take a little while, so it's best to do it a little bit at a time. In a minute, I'm going to start pausing it when I'm doing these bakes so that you don't have to wait for them. So what we have now is, so now you see we have a nice little drag on the head, so it's got a little secondary on it. I can mute this to see what it added for us. So we have our stable head, and then we have a little secondary on it, which gets a nice little feel for it. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on the ears, but I'm going to put these into FK. So I'm going to put these ears in FK. And I'm going to select these, and so these are going to be a lot smaller. So I'm going to query each of these. So these are, it's doing the whole thing. I'm going to say 25 is what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do, just so you can see this, is I'm going to select these. I'm going to do the 3 of these. Oops. So I'm going to go 25. Oop, not 250. I'm going to bake this, and I'm going to pause it when I bake. Oop. I did not do the right. I wanted a layer, so I'm hitting escape to pop out of this. I don't want that. Delete those and go back to here. FK, oh, FK, there we go. So, I do want keys on here to be able to do this, but I want these to be zeroed out. So I'm going to key these, and then I'm going to add these to this animation layer. I could do this, let me do that. I'm going to put some in there, another animation layer so you can see that. So from selected, we're going to call this, so that's head, and this is going to be ears. And I'm going to bake, and then I'm going to pause. Alright, so this is what dragger looks like. So this really isn't what we want. I'd probably turn off, if I wanted something like this on something else, I'd turn off the translate and just do rotate. But this really isn't what I want to do. So actually, I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to do the other ear another way. So let's go ahead and select these FK controls, and I'm going to add these to the set. And we're going to change to spring and see how this goes. So I'm trying to translate because we didn't want that. We did the same size. Now these are reversed, so I'm going to go Z negative and Y negative, because that's my up, and I'm just going to see what it does for the base, and then we can start tweaking. Okay, so this first bake is looking really loose, so that's going to be a lot. I do like that it's just rolling around rather than stretching, so that's going to be better, but I need to change my settings here. So I'm going to select those again. I do want to get these in order because that's the bake order. So I'm going to up the damp a lot. let's try a 5, 4, and a 4. And let's up the spring as well to like a 7 and a 7. Let's try that. Alright, just see how terrible this goes sometimes. I'll show you this here. So it's doing all kinds of funky stuff. So our setting is definitely not good there. So I'm going to delete those keys. I think this needs to be 0.4, not a 4. We got to get our docs up on these and to show kind of what these settings do. Because right now it's a little just try it and see. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Alright, so this is actually pretty decent. I'd probably tweak it a little bit for a final. But it's got some nice movement on it. Again, just play a setting so you get something you like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do the torso and then a couple other things just kind of show you what you can do to spice up your anims. So I'm going to go make a new layer for this. We'll call this the spine. I'm going to go to dragger again. And we'll do let's try 10. Okay, so this is what I got on the first pass. What I forgot to do was to set my scale. So it's a bit of a sharper aim. And so it's getting a little bit heavier than I might want. So what I'm going to go back and do is change this back to 75. And I'm going to rebake this. Alright, so now it's much better. I get a nice little bounce in the spine. And you can usually turn it off and see what you get without and then with. And then you can also key it down if you want. You can slide it. But what about if you wanted to have like some fat jiggle on the belly here? So for that, what I can do is go turn on my Viz Direct. And if you have direct controls in your own rigs, that'd be fine as well. And so I'm going to select these like middle ones, and I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to call these my fat. Let's see what happens. Alright, I did a few more tests on it. Now, he's not moving a ton, so I'm not getting a lot of reaction, but what I can do is I can go to the graph editor on those that layer, and I can push it. So I can push some extremeness in this, which will give me a lot more stuff going on. So that's just one way to do that. It's probably too much, but I just kind of want to show how this works. Next time I would like to show how to use CDM SimChain, but this is just one way that we use to tweak animations and just give them a little bit more. As much time as you have, you can keep adding stuff and playing with the layers and stuff, but it works well, and it's an easy way to add just a little bit more life to your animations. Hope you find this useful. Thanks.